Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I am Kevin, your host as usual, and behind me, the beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully still a little wisdom up here. It is 4:30 in the morning, and I am enjoying some good dark roast. First and foremost, I have to thank all of the new subscribers and viewers, and most importantly, the comments that are coming through are incredible. This is bigger than I had ever thought, and it's been surreal, to tell you the truth. And with that in mind, if you are enjoying these videos, and I'm going to keep coming out with more content, so please like, share, and subscribe if you wish, and we'll go from there. But this morning's topic, I didn't know really what to talk about until I was sitting outside, and as I've indicated, I've been embracing some new things along this journey. I am 4 months into this process so far, and a lot of the comments coming through are talking about how they've been going through this for a much longer time, an extended period of time. And I wish you guys all of the best in this journey. Again, divine timing and our theoretical time are two completely different things, but when it's in the cards, it's in the cards, and you guys will meet up again. That is all part of this process. No idea how long mine is going to take, but I'm in it for the long haul regardless, because at the end of the day, this isn't about anybody else, including your ex. It's just about you and just about me. So that's the whole point of this. And with that in mind, while I was outside listening to my morning prayer, and again, I don't get too biblical or anything like that, but I'm really enjoying listening to those in the morning. And because I was uncertain on what to talk about, within the prayer, all of a sudden it came to me. And so today's topic is going to be facing our fears. More importantly, the David versus Goliath metaphor, and who are our giants that we are up against along this journey. And so I have written down 4 of them that are things that I am overcoming throughout this entire process, and I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. The first one being fear of abandonment. Fear of abandonment, as I've been sitting in some of my meditations and doing some journaling, I remember when I was a kid, and it was the first time I had experienced my parents and their fighting and their arguing to the highest of degrees, and it was a pretty common practice in our house. My parents were one of those that were very codependent. I would say probably a narcissistic codependent relationship to the 10th power, arguing all the time. And I remember me sitting at the kitchen table with my mom sitting to my left, and my dad was walking out the door with his clothes and suitcase. And it was the first time I was about to experience being quote unquote abandoned, I suppose. And sitting in meditation, I went back to that for a little bit, shed a few tears actually. And one thing I've been learning to do during these meditations to help with this is the visualization aspect. And so what I've visualized in that moment is me standing behind little me with my hands on my shoulders, whispering in my ear, saying, "It's going to be okay, I got you." And for whatever reason, it lifted, and I felt this just almost like, you get that hug from somebody when you really need it. That's what it felt like, this warm embrace, and it was like I was letting go of that. And I don't know what the byproduct of that is going to be, because it's a very recent thing, but we carry around a lot of bags, heavy bags of past traumas. And I'm really reaching deep to begin to remove those one-on-one or one by one, because this journey is about just that. It's about becoming whole and not allowing the past to dictate our present and future anymore. And so to me, and I hope to see the fruits of that labor of really digging deep into the past and healing that wound specifically. So fear of abandonment is a big one for me, but I would like to believe that might have been a big catalyst for some much needed change in the future. The second one is fear of loss. I've talked about in my previous videos some of the other traumas that I have gone through, and I want to specifically reference this one. Fear of loss to me, I've said many times, you'd think I'd be used to it by now. My brother passed away when I was 10 years old. He was 13. I sadly found my father after he committed suicide. Very traumatic event, a very traumatic event. And of course, I've been divorced, I had said. My mom remarried to one of the greatest men I have ever met in my entire life, who really changed a lot of things about me. And we lost him in 2017. So there's different events, and again, everybody goes through them. I'm not saying mine are any more or less severe than anybody out there, but I didn't really realize the fear of loss until my twin flame broke up with me, and she had specifically asked me why I'm reacting the way I am. It was almost as if I was in panic mode of, here we go again. Here we go again. And she had specifically asked, why do you act like that? And I just looked at her and said, because I'm sick of losing people. And it really, at the moment, because I was in that feeling sorry for myself mode, it didn't really register or hit me until actually this morning, until when I began to write this down. The fear of loss is a very real thing for me, and the fact is I'm not used to it. Nor do you really ever get used to it, but there are different ways you can make peace with the losses. And much like with the reference to my stepdad and how he changed me, those are the things I need to embrace and should embrace. I believe in something that I think all of us are beginning to either start to believe in or we do believe in, and that is our existence is much bigger than us. And if we are on a soul's journey, when I pass along onto the next astral plane, wherever that may be, I'm going to get to see all these people again. Now, it's not to say that it doesn't hurt that they're gone now, and it does still, but I'm going to reframe my thinking with this and implement the things that they taught me along the way to become a better me. And also the aspect that, with these losses, I've become who I've become. So can I really be hurt and that sad about it? You can still miss them, but it's probably time that I really just, again, set those bags down and just accept the circumstances as they are. People are going to come and go in your life all the time. People very close to you, and people a little distant. But embracing them while they're in your life, I think, is something I'm going to really focus on much more and just appreciate the moment. And I have a feeling that that's going to probably be a better outlook on life than my past of just fearing losing people, because what we resist persists. And if I'm in a fear of loss, well, people keep exiting my life. I wonder why that is. Well, it's probably just a bad way of thinking about it up in my head. Another thing, and I had said this and I didn't really realize it until, again, recently going through this breakup, the not feeling good enough aspect. I remember telling my ex on a number of different occasions that she, and I didn't mean like from a physical presence, but I had said, you intimidate me to some degree, which is sort of implying that I'm not good enough for you. Now, if I'm putting out that energy, what do you think she is interpreting? People feel energy, they might not be able to express it, but they feel it in different ways. And if she is under the impression that this guy's probably acting a little weak right now, and why wouldn't he think that he's good enough for me? It's just me, and I could probably reciprocate that back in some degrees. But this feeling of somebody not being good, or that I'm not good enough for them, is I look at it now, it's like, wow, Kevin, you are good enough. I am good enough. But for whatever reason, my thinking at that time was that I was not. So that, again, is another fear of mine, that if we resist, it persists. So one more thing that I need to work on. And the last one, I've been talking about how I loved my ex unconditionally. I've delved a little bit deeper into that, and I'm kind of wondering if that could be possibly true, because I myself have a fear of being loved. That, again, going back, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Yes, I am good enough. But if I have the mindset of am I not good enough, or am I good enough, are we really open to true unconditional love? I don't know if you can have both arguments. The more I look back on this and dive into it a little bit deeper, I'm under the firm belief that I don't think that can be the case. Because to truly allow love to come in, you have to completely love yourself. So I'm looking at this, and again, these things are changing as this evolution of this process comes through. Again, I'm 4 months into it, and by comparison to other people, I'm a baby. I'm brand new at this, but as you can see, I'm trying to put in the mental work to correct these things, to live more presently, to accept the fact that, damn it, I am good enough, that I cannot fear losing someone, that if they walk out of my life, just allow them to go. It's a choice of theirs that they need to make in that moment in time. Why push somebody to stay in your life if they don't want to? You can't. You got to set them free. Got to set them free. And the other thing I'd like to kind of make a comment on too is shared fears. We are one soul divided into two on this twin flame journey. And when I'm talking about these fears, I had noticed these fears in her too, almost echoed in different aspects. So we are the divine feminine in this. We are leading the charge. We are the ones that have to alchemize our energy first. I know it's a hell of a deal, but we have to do it. So I believe the more I study twin flames, that if I'm able to alchemize and balance these emotions out, and most importantly set these damn heavy bags down that have been burdening me for a long time. I'm 46 years old, and we're talking some old childhood traumas that go way back. Probably, the first one I had mentioned about abandonment, 8, 9, 10 years old. I don't know the exact time frame, but that's a long time to be carrying trauma. Too long. But I have to be grateful and thankful again for my ex leaving me so I can tackle these things, because I'm no good to her if I'm hanging on to these. I'm no good to me. I'm no good to the world if I'm hanging on to these things. So this is the part of it where we just really have to accept the breakup, be grateful for it, look in that mirror, telling yourself you are good enough, facing our fears, tackling those damn giants and looking up at them and be like, hey, MFer, I got you today. You're not going to own me anymore. I own you. I own me. And I am going to get through this just as all of you are. So today's lesson, face those giants, you guys. Face them, because they're big. And there isn't a process out there that I've been through that has me staring these right in their face at this moment in time. This has exposed many weaknesses, many flaws, and again, I'm labeling things, and I don't like necessarily to do that, because egoic minds, or the ego, is what interprets things as good or bad or weak or strong or things like that. And there is strength in surrendering to these fears, and I believe I said that on a previous video. There is massive strength in surrender. So surrender yourself to it. I'm going to learn that I have no more fear of abandonment, no more fear of loss. I am good enough, and I am love, and I can be loved. So with that, you guys, this is the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I truly appreciate all of the viewers that have stepped on board. It has been this has been a hard journey, but so fulfilling so far in numerous ways. The feedback, the comments, it lets me know that this is my path. It's the right path. I'm helping myself and helping other people out there, hopefully. And judging by the comments, it's really resonating with people. So here's to the community. Here's to all of you. I love you. Until the next time.